I don't have strong opinions about anything. Yeah, right. I know exactly what this world needs. It needs less people that know exactly what this world needs. Opinions are everywhere. And technology has made it so much easier to get your opinions to more people. And I'm not against opinions. I'm not even against the tough discussions that different opinions sometimes creates. I think conflict is healthy. It creates boundaries and it holds people accountable. But what I am against is people not dealing with conflict in a healthy way. When the tension goes up, it's so easy for our emotions to get out of control. And so I want to give you some thoughts today that'll help you argue in the right way. So stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Ryan Franklin, and I would love for you to join me every week as we explore leadership topics that'll help you get the clarity needed to move your organization forward. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified as soon as I post a new session. And before we get started, I do want to mention that I have a great new product called the Christian Leader Blueprint. It's a solid model for leadership development. And if you've been looking for something that can help you or your team members develop in leadership, look no further than the Christian Leader Blueprint. And I want to give it to you as my gift. Just go to christianleadermadesimple.com and you can download it for free today. And without any further delay, let's get to our session. You may be thinking to yourself that what we really need in this world and in my everyday environment is less conflict. And I'm going to argue with you on that for a minute. We don't need less conflict. We just need the right kind of conflict. When we have less conflict, it creates a few different unhealthy dynamics. One, you could have certain people who are getting their way all of the time and not allowing other opinions to be heard. And two, you may have passive-aggressive behavior taking place as people attempt to avoid direct communication and the truth. And passive-aggressive behavior is actually really common in churches because you often find passive-aggressive behavior as a downside of someone with a really high compassion. And so when someone is highly compassionate, they struggle to tell people hard things. And it creates passive-aggressive behavior. And so it's super important to sort of push to deal with hard things openly and timely in churches and in other organizations in order to have productive relationships. And this is where social intelligence comes into play. And I cover some important aspects of having tough conversations in a video that I did last November. You can go check that out. It's called How to Have Tough Conversations. But I want to give you some different tips today that are more specifically related to social intelligence. And one of the first things that we need to remember is that we're dealing with actual relationships, possibly even really important relationships with a ton on the line, if it's a family member or a work relationship or a ministry relationship. These are real people, and we need these people in our lives. And so there's a lot on the line. And we need to remember that we don't always have to win an argument. I have a pretty high competitiveness within me. I like to win. But I know that if I'm truly going to consider the feelings of the other person, this person that I love and that I care about, I've got to be comfortable with just a resolution of the disagreement. I have to be comfortable with the other person winning as well. The goal is not for me to always win. The goal is for us to both win. And I can't approach a circumstance always thinking that I'm the right person and the other person is wrong. I'm going to change. I can't approach this thinking I'm going to change this person's mind all of the time, because if I do this, there's no doubt that I'm going to be met with resistance. But if I approach it with a true desire to understand what the other person is feeling and thinking, there's no doubt that I will be more calm, that the other person is going to feel heard, and this will allow me to respond in a more calm and compassionate way, which in turn will bring the tension of the room down. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger." And for you men especially, I want to say that a soft answer doesn't equal weakness. In fact, it takes a pretty big man or woman to be able to control his or her reaction when the tension is really high. But what if the argument takes you to a bad place and the other person begins to escalate and raise his or her voice at you? What do you do then? Here's a fact about escalated conversations that I need you to know. There's no way that you can talk sense into a person that is escalated. The only thing that you can do in that moment is just simply listen and tune in to their emotion. If you respond, you're going to make it worse. And so it really helps when you can just listen and label the emotion that you're seeing, or even restate what you're hearing them say. Let me give you an example. Ryan, you're obviously very angry. Or, Ryan, you seem to be pretty upset about the circumstances. Or you could say, so, Ryan, if I'm hearing you correctly, and then finish that sentence. This may sound overly simple to you, but it's social intelligence at its best, and it works. Responding with anger or control or even reason is not going to help you in that moment. They just need to know that you hear what they're saying and you understand them. Otherwise, the person is likely going to persist with anger until things just explode, or they finally feel like they've been heard in some way. And if you're going to get anywhere with this person, somehow you have to show them that you're on their side in resolving the conflict. Something I recently learned a lot more about from a book called The Advice Trap by MBS is to just stay curious. Don't push your agenda through just to save time and save face. Just get curious about why the person you're talking to is so passionate about their opinion. Get curious about what's causing that, and ask them questions. And you're likely to come to a much greater understanding, and it's possible that you could even change their mind or change your mind. At the least, the other person will see that you're truly wanting to understand their point of view, and they'll likely calm down and be more open to your perspective as well. And if you try to force someone to change their mind, you can hang it up. That just doesn't work. And they may submit to what you're saying, but I can guarantee you that it'll be with resistance. Instead, try a little social intelligence, and you're likely to have a pretty good conversation that leads to true, healthy resolution. I encourage you, be sure to check out my last 2 sessions on social intelligence. I guarantee they'll help you. Hope you have a great day. God bless.